Hello everyone, this is Film Flash. Today, let's take a look at a sci-fi movie called Self-Less. The story begins in a magnificent mansion where real estate tycoon Damien stands in front of the window, filled with regret and reluctance because he has a terminal illness and only has 6 months left to live. When he meets his friend Martin, they chat for a while and then encounter a young man who ridicules Damien's illness in front of a politician. Furious about this news, Damien uses his advantage to take away the young man's contract worth $200 million and kicks him out. Although he can teach the young man a lesson, the fact that Damien's life is coming to an end is undeniable. Damien tells Martin about his illness and jokes about his own virility in the face of unbeatable cancer. Damien's relationship with his daughter Claire is very tense because Damien used to focus only on making money and did not fulfill his duties as a father. Although he loves his daughter, his strong personality as a businessman prevents him from apologizing proactively. Thinking about his impending death, he calls Claire but only hears her voicemail, which leaves him feeling lonely. He takes out a business card with a phone number on the back that can help him. Damien goes to the place indicated on the business card, where Albright is responsible for the shedding project, which uses advanced technology to transplant a consciousness or soul into a young and healthy body to give the client a new life. Albright says that this service is not only very expensive, but they only do it for great people, and the new bodies are genetically engineered to be perfect. Albright's words indicate that Damien meets their conditions. Back at his magnificent but empty home, Damien considers whether he should do this seemingly impossible thing. Of course, the expensive cost is not a problem for Damien, but the technological risks are. Eventually, Damien makes up his mind. At most, he will die a few months earlier. After making the decision, Damien wants to say goodbye to his daughter. Although she is clearly surprised by her father's sudden appearance, their communication and meetings have been lacking, and Damien's tone is still as dominant as before, which disappoints Claire. They part ways, leaving Damien very depressed. Damien's condition also begins to deteriorate, and he collapses and spits blood while searching for information about the shedding project, and he is sent to the hospital again. Damien decides to accelerate the shedding project and contacts Albright to confirm the time and plan. Albright also tells him that the project must not be exposed, which means that after being reborn, Damien must completely say goodbye to his previous life, including family, friends, and career. The plan begins with Damien pretending to faint in a restaurant, and then being taken away by Albright's men in a fake ambulance to be directly sent to the lab for surgery. Before starting, Albright asks if there are any metal items in Damien's body, as it would cause the plan to fail. Damien confirms that he does not have any. The shedding is actually quite simple, with 2 bodies placed on either side of a machine and then the machine is operated to switch the bodies. Damien's consciousness begins to slowly blur, and some time later he wakes up again. The staff pulls him out and asks for his name, confirming that he is Damien. Damien is surprised to find that the shedding plan has succeeded, and he has truly gained a new life, with a body that is even somewhat handsome. His original body will be taken away and news of his death will be announced. At first, Damien cannot fully control his new body and cannot even walk properly. Struggling, Damien sees his own body in the mirror and realizes that it looks a bit like Deadpool. It's worth the $250 million they spent. Afterwards, Damien begins training to adapt to his new body as quickly as possible. Albright tells Damien that there will be some side effects at first, such as hallucinations, nausea, and headaches, and he will need to take medication to suppress this rejection reaction, which will disappear completely after 6 months. After that, his life is just training and taking medicine over and over again. After a while, Damien finally adapts to his new body. Before leaving, Albright gives him a week's worth of medication and says he will send more when needed, and he should rest for a few months. Once the rejection reaction is gone, he will be completely free. Albright also arranges for him a nice residence, a car, and some money. Although it is not as luxurious as his old mansion, it is still a multi-level villa. The reborn Damien feels young and free. He plays basketball with young people and meets a friend named Anton. At night, he goes to nightclubs with Anton to meet hot girls. From then on, Damien enters various entertainment venues and leads a very indulgent life, changing partners every day and night, making up for the nightlife he missed due to work and illness over the past few years. However, this kind of life makes Damien tired after a while, and he thinks of his daughter again. He can't help but call her, but doesn't know what to say. After being too happy for a few days and forgetting to take his medication, Damien has a hallucination. He sees a little girl, the child's mother, a Latin woman, some war scenes, and a pumpkin-shaped water tower, which causes him to have a splitting headache and faint. Afterward, Damien asked Albright about his hallucinations, but Albright said they were all illusions. However, Damien felt that they were incredibly real. When Albright explained, he mentioned that the woman in Damien's hallucinations was a Latin woman, which surprised Damien because he never told Albright what race the woman was. Albright quickly changed the subject and suggested that Damien go to Hawaii to relax. Albright also gave Damien medication to suppress his hallucinations. Damien didn't want to ignore his suspicions, so he searched online for pictures of pumpkins and found a picture of the pumpkin water tower that looked exactly like the one in his hallucinations. He found the money he had hidden for his daughter and Albright's men escorted him to the airport to go to Hawaii. However, after passing security, Damien quickly changed his flight and headed to the city where the Pumpkin Water Tower was located. He found the tower, which confirmed that his hallucinations might be real. He went into the house below the tower and found pictures of the Latin woman and the girl, as well as discovering that his new body was actually that of a female soldier and the father of the girl. Damien was shocked to learn that Albright had deceived him, and the so-called genetic engineering and rejection reactions were all lies. The Latin woman returned and mistook Damien for a bad guy, so she aimed a gun at him. But when she saw Damien's face, she started crying because she thought her husband had died. Damien didn't know how to explain the situation to the crying woman. Albright's men arrived unexpectedly and quickly subdued Damien. That woman can't escape either. That's when Damien realized that his friend Anton was also monitoring him on Albright's behalf. Anton explained that the body's original owner had donated it voluntarily because the man's daughter had a terminal illness and needed a large sum of money. Damien didn't need to know these details and just needed to enjoy the body. However, Damien felt deceived and knocked out Anton's men. Anton arrived to try and convince Damien, but it was no use, and they began to fight. Damien, who had been reborn as a soldier, was physically strong, and Anton was no match for him. They fought all the way outside the house. Anton called for others to kill Damien, and Damien quickly escaped into the house and saved the Latin woman. The people outside started a fire to destroy the evidence, but Damien managed to hide under the floor and kill Anton's group in secret. They escaped together, but Damien couldn't explain the situation to the Latin woman and had to pretend to be her husband, saying he disappeared to earn money to save their sick daughter. They later picked up their daughter and went to a hotel. Damien searched online for the shedding project and found out that Dr. Jackson, who is now paralyzed, was in charge of the project and that Albright, who transformed himself, was Jackson's student. Damien realized that Jackson might have transferred his consciousness to his student. The next day, Damien visited Jackson's wife, but due to her dementia, she didn't know much about the situation, except that after Jackson died, one of his students took all the research data and often visited her. Damien confirmed that the current Albright is Jackson. Later, Damien kidnapped Albright, who came to visit Jackson's wife, and threatened her to give him enough medication. Albright admitted that he was Jackson and believed that rebirth could give more great people more opportunities for dedication. Albright told Damien that if he continued to take the medicine, the original owner's memory would completely disappear in half a year, and there would be no worries at that time. Damien did not want to exchange rebirth for deception. When Damien took Albright out, he was subdued by Albright's henchmen. Just when they were about to crush him, the unaware wife suddenly appeared and saw that she was in danger. Damien activated his military training and quickly took care of the thugs. But Damien had a severe headache and was subdued by the leader of the thugs, and his wife saved him with a gun. After tuning, Damien found out that this person was Anton, reborn after the shedding. Anton told his wife that the current Damien was not her husband before. After they escaped, Damien told his wife the truth, which was not his fault. He thought his body was a vessel and did not know it was a body with thoughts. He explained that he had a small island where they could live without worry. Then he found his friend Martin and tried to make Martin believe that he was the original Damien. He wanted to use Martin's helicopter to send the mother and daughter to the small island. During Martin's preparation for the flight, he found Martin's son, who had been reborn through the shedding project. Damien realized that Martin might have leaked the news to Albright. He told Martin that rebirth was exchanged for other people's lives, not gene coexistence. After knowing this, Martin regretted and decided to help them. Damien went to the front to lead Albright's men away, while Martin led the mother and daughter away from the back and agreed on a meeting place. Indeed, as Damien drove away, Albright's men followed him and split into two groups. As a result, Damien successfully wiped out all of Albright's henchmen after an intense chase, but his wife and daughter were captured, and Anton once again lost his life. When Damien arrived at the designated location, Martin told him that his wife and daughter had been taken away. Martin was very self-blaming, and he gave Damien some drugs, telling him that over the past 6 months, he had done a lot to get rid of Albright. He had the reverse engineering formula and drugs in Mexico, which could be bought for a few $1,000s and would last for 6 months. In order to rescue his wife and daughter, Damien forcibly refused to take the drugs and used the residual memories of the original owner to find out the location of Albright's laboratory and successfully infiltrated it. However, he did not find his wife and daughter, only seeing Anton on the experimental table. It appeared that Anton would again use someone else's body to resurrect. Damien's whereabouts were also discovered, and Albright saw him as a trapped prey. In order not to waste Damien's original owner's strong physique, Anton would take over, and Damien would disappear forever. Later, Damien was subdued, but he took the opportunity to swallow a bullet. Then both of them were pushed into the machine, spun around, and pushed out again. Because Damien's experiment with carrying metal failed, he was not occupied. He took advantage of the situation to pretend to be Anton and, using Anton's identity, rescued the mother and daughter. However, they were still discovered and had a gunfight with Albright's men. During their escape, they seized control of the laboratory's control room. Albright happened to be in the laboratory and discovered why Damien was not occupied by Anton. But it was too late, and Albright threatened Damien with drugs that suppress rejection reactions, forcing him to let him go. However, Damien already had the formula and immediately used a gun to turn Albright into a pile of ashes. With the boss dead, the henchmen naturally fled. Later, Damien arranged for the mother and daughter to go abroad to his small island, while he went to see his daughter as a friend and confessed his regret for not being there for her as she grew up. Finally, he handed her a handwritten letter. Sometime later, Damien woke up in a rundown hut and saw, "Click me," written on the wall, pointing to the computer below. She clicked on the computer and learned the truth about what had happened. It turned out that Damien could not bear to watch a woman lose her husband and a daughter lose her father just for his own impending death. So, she had not taken the drugs for a long time and returned the body to the original owner. At the end of the movie, guided by Damien's recorded instructions, the original owner reunited with his wife and daughter on the small island. After experiencing life and death separation, they hugged each other tightly and thanked Damien for her sacrifice. That's the end of the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time, bye bye.